The main message from this report is that we need to conduct further research and study to understand how financial relationships are evolving in the rise of Asia and Australia's part in that. Asia is a trading region, we know. It's very integrated with the rest of the world. It's responsible for more than 30% of global trade, but it's responsible for a much smaller share of trade in financial services, in cross-border investment, and in anything having to do with trade in financial services or cross-border investment. That's going to change. We were surprised even to discover during the course of the research in the report that more than 70% of Australia's trade in financial services is with 3 countries, being the US, UK, and New Zealand. Now, Australia's got a major trading relationship with Asia. 2/3 of our merchandise trade is with Asia. 4 of our top 5 trading partners for goods are in Asia. So 2/3 of the trading relationship is with Asia when you look at goods, but only 1/3 of the financial relationship. So it's a very unbalanced state. Quite a lot of that simply has to do with the historic level of development of financial services in Asia. So there was limited opportunity, there were high regulatory barriers, there are all sorts of reasons why financial services and flows haven't necessarily followed the trading relationship yet. Barriers, there's lots. And in fact, if you look at the OECD data, what it shows is that the major Asian economies have the highest barriers to trade in financial services of any OECD country, and by a significant margin. Whether you look at banking, pension and funds management, or insurance, it's the same story. One of the big barriers is that Asia is not Asia. Asia is a collection of many individual economies, each with their own regulatory regime, each with their own legal framework, each with their own culture, each with their own language in many cases. So it's not as easy as saying, let's go for Asia. It's not just about export opportunities, and it's not just about Australian investment offshore. It's also about investment from Asia into Australia, whether that's from financial firms themselves coming from different countries in Asia, or whether that is just investment flows that are coming into Australia. China is a good example. If we think about China's economy catching up to Japan in a financial sense, the financial sophistication, and you talk about a multiple percentage point rise in GDP of outbound direct investment to the point where China catches up with Japan, that's about $1.5 trillion of outbound direct investment. Some of that is going to come to Australia. We've got to understand what that means, where it's directed, what's the impact, because China is a huge economy. It's the 2nd largest economy in the world. Its next step for integration is in financial integration, and that will impact us. As an example, if you look at data for merchandise trade, there's more than 8,000 categories of types of goods that you can trade, and you can look at two-way trade on all of those categories. We have nowhere near that level of understanding for trade and financial services. Currently, on the statistics that we gather, we don't actually show what our financial services exports are. When you have a large bank or a large fund manager that sets up an office in another country, either as a subsidiary or as a branch, that service that's provided offshore doesn't appear anywhere in the official statistics. But that is how the majority of financial services are delivered. What we've estimated is that financial services, foreign affiliate sales, in 2013-14 was 55 billion Australian dollars. That is as much as all services exports in total that were reported by the ABS in that year. It's about 17% of all exports. But it's kind of not on the radar. We need to understand it, but we don't even have the data to support our understanding of it.